Hi, it's Sunday, November 10th, and we're tracking several systems in the West Pacific this week. We've got Tropical Storm Taraji intensifying on approach to the Philippines, which is off your screen here, and will be making landfall sometime tomorrow morning, likely as an intensifying typhoon, and we'll talk about this one in just a moment. We've also got Tropical Storm Manyi, which is coming generally west-southwest towards the Mariana Islands, and it is a little bit sheared right now and will be remaining sheared and weakening as it comes towards those islands, but we will briefly mention that for some impacts that we could have to these islands over the next few days. We've also got between these two systems Invest 94W. This is forecast to develop in short term and is forecast to track northwest towards the Philippines in the same general region that we've had with Typhoon Yingxing and Taraji. And we could be looking at another intensifying typhoon for the northern Philippines as the system comes this way into parts of this upcoming week. That's a lot, but let's go ahead and get through these. We're going to start off with Taraji. As we look at the close-up visible loop of the system, you can see its proximity to the Philippines. It is getting fairly close now. We're about, like I mentioned, about 24 hours out from landfall. And the system is beginning to show signs this morning of trying to close off its eyewall. It has not done that yet. It hasn't reached typhoon intensity as of right now. You can see that we do have convection, though, wrapping in a counterclockwise fashion around what is likely the eye of the typhoon. And we can see on microwave imagery a similar type of structure. If I get a better color here, you can see the eye here and this band wrapping counterclockwise on the eastern side of this eye. And what we're likely seeing this morning with these convective bursts wrap around is an attempt of this storm trying to close off this eye and eye wall structure. And once that happens, the environment will favor potential rapid intensification as the system comes towards Luzon over the next day. And the expectation from models is that we will see this intensify pretty much all the way up to landfall, barring any potential internal issues that we have. But those are more unpredictable. And the expectation right now from areas like the Japan Meteorological Agency and the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is in agreement with those models showing intensification. And you can see the reason why that we are expecting this intensification is that the upper level environment is really favorable for the system. We have a very nice upper level high pressure system draped right on top of this. There might be some slight easterly shear if you look at some of the thunderstorms here on the east side of the storm. Their tops are getting slightly blown off towards the west, highlighting perhaps some weak westerly shear, but this is not in any way inhibitive. And so far this morning, we are seeing trends towards a more significant intensification trend later today and tonight. And the expectation, I would say, is expect the system to intensify if you're along the coast of Luzon. And you can see this happen on the GFS. This is the current frame as of this morning, and you can see the pressure of 987 millibars on that. And as we get the inner core more built and structured later today, we start to see more rapid intensification. The pressure value falls quite a bit, now below 970 on this forecast by landfall sometime tomorrow morning. And this would be a rapidly intensifying typhoon as it comes into landfall here. And once it makes landfall, we do expect, of course, rapid weakening as you would expect with the high terrain over Luzon. And it's going to be entering the South China Sea, and it will be coming west towards the coastline of China. And the expectation right now is that the environment will get increasingly less favorable for the system as it comes west. So anyone worried about this in areas like Hainan or China, the environment is forecast to get worse. And you can see that if we look at the upper level wind environment here, this is the 250 millibar flow plot, and you can see as the system is approaching the coast, the system is moving generally west-northwest or due northwest, and we have an upper level high pressure system over here east of the Philippines, and this is bringing southerly flow into this storm. So we have a slight shear, a slight vertical wind shear impacting the system, but also the waters along this part of the coast have also cooled down significantly with the cold fronts that we're now getting down here pretty far south with the time of year. That's cooled off these waters quite a bit. And anything, if it does intensify a little bit more after Luzon, whatever intensity it is, it will likely weaken as it comes towards the coast. And we're not really expecting any significant impacts here from any form of a strong typhoon along this part of the China coastline. But for the Philippines, this is certainly not something you want to see, and you can spot there on the model that we have yet another system on the way. And the main important thing is here is that you stay tuned very closely to Pagasa, and I'll show you their forecast right now. You can see they're expecting this to continue intensifying into a typhoon, and landfall is expected sometime tomorrow morning or early afternoon. This, looking on their forecast, would probably be between the time frame of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. On this forecast, which looks about right for landfall based on current model guidance. But any preparations that you have put in place for the system, you'll likely want to keep them in place, as we do have another system likely on the way. You can see it here further east out in the open tropical Pacific. This is Invest 94W sitting out here in the tropical Pacific, not looking like a tropical cyclone yet, but the system does have a lot of disorganized convection around it. What this is going to help it do is moisten the environment around the low pressure system that it has, and eventually that's going to allow more organized convection to set in, and we'll get tropical development from that, and will likely become a tropical cyclone in short order. You can see just how short order that may be. This is the GFS out to tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon local time, and this is showing a tropical cyclone already forming on this model, and other models are in agreement with this. So we'll likely see development in the next couple of days as the system comes northwest. And the issue with this is that with Taraji in the Philippines right now, we have the benefit with that system that it doesn't have a lot of time. It has about a day to intensify from here on out. 94W is going to be developing way earlier, and it's going to be in a favorable environment for much longer than Taraji has been. And because of that, we're likely going to see more of a significant intensification trend. And also, we're likely going to see the system get stronger than Taraji based on current model guidance. You can see the environment as the system comes northwest with a very nice and favorable upper level high pressure system right over it. This is helping to feed a light shear environment, and the waters here are plenty warm for the system to intensify. And you may wonder, could Taraji cause some issues for the system as it comes closer to the Philippines with potential upwelling? And it's possible, but I wouldn't say it's overly likely, because the waters here are more deep. So the warmth of the ocean waters extends to a greater depth along this eastern part of the Philippines. So it's going to take a lot more than Taraji, which is moving at a fairly brisk pace, to upwell that water to a significant degree. And 94W is likely to be unimpeded by that as it comes northwest. And you can see that on the GFS, we get a very significant intensification trend, the pressure falling fairly low here as it comes towards the Philippines. And this could be yet another significant hit to it. Now, there is one potential fail mode I could see, or not really a fail mode, but something that could impact the system a little bit more than the GFS is modeling in the short term, and that does have to do with Taraji. You can see in the GFS it is fairly weak in the South China Sea, as you would expect, but on the chance it is able to intensify or rebound a little bit more, we could see the system impact the upper level high pressure system a little bit more. You could see that European has a system a little bit stronger in the South China Sea, and because of that, it strengthens this ridge a little bit more east of the Philippines, and we get a little bit stronger flow with this system over 94W. And this system is moving more west-northwest, and this flow from this ridge is more west-southwest. So this is a slight northerly shear on this forecast, and that you could see the European is much weaker, potentially because of that wind shear on this forecast. Now, it does eventually show intensification regardless, because Taraji is forecast to weaken anyway because of the cooler waters and the wind shear, but it's something to keep in mind, and we have to see if this does happen in reality, and that could impact the forecast for 94W. But the key message today for the Philippines is, Taraji is going to make landfall the next day, so we can expect typhoon impacts there across northern Philippines over the next day. And you can see we do have signal 1 and signal 2 warnings already in place along the Luzon coast and further inland areas as well, and these will likely be extended over the next day as well. And any preparations that you have put up for Taraji, it's best to keep them up because we will have another system coming your way. And the best thing to do right now really is listen to local guidance from Pagasa as the system comes northwest. The forecast is a little bit uncertain right now. Naturally, with 94W, we don't know exactly how strong it will get, but current model guidance shows that we could have another intensifying typhoon on the way, the third in a row in the past week. And I'll have, of course, more videos on this as it does come further northwest towards the Philippines. So stay safe in the Philippines as Taraji comes through. One more thing before I go, you can see we do have Tropical Storm Manyi here in the central tropical Pacific. This system is getting sheared. You can see the low-level center is on the western end of all this convection. If you look at the upper-level environment across the West Pacific, you can see why. This is our storm here on the model, and we have on the north, or on the eastern side rather, of this upper level high pressure system helping Taraji and 94W. It's just getting blasted with northwesterly shear. And for that reason, the system is forecast to weaken even more than it is right now as it comes towards the Mariana Islands. And you can see on this forecast from the Japan Meteorological Agency, forecasting it to become potentially a severe tropical storm on their forecast right now, but after that weakening to a tropical depression before it comes through the Mariana Islands, that we could have some increased heavy rainfall as the system does come through. But the good news is here, no threat of a strong typhoon with this system, as it will be getting sheared apart as it does come through there. That's all I've got for today. Like I said, I'll have more videos on Taraji and 94W as they continue west. Stay safe in the Philippines as Taraji does approach. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.